hey, when you do new things, I get to look forward. When history, when you don't repeat history, then then yeah, and that's what it's always been about. Like I've always implored when it comes to judging my teams that or any team, it's like if a team doesn't like any negative narratives that are about talked about them or spoken about them or surrounds them, then it's up to them to break them and to change them. And that's what the season was: changing narratives, proving that you can win big games, proving that you can stay focused after winning a big game, right? Not wilting under pressure. And they've done it time after time after again. That's what makes this season so special. So, Mr. Glasper, I am ecstatic that they have, proven me wrong. They have given me memories that I think we're all going to remember for a lifetime. And and that's just the beauty of this, man. It's incredible, you know. And we're going to enjoy it. We're going to enjoy it, absolutely.
Yeah. So I don't think we ever had it established, and there was Zane Gates asked about the crowd. Like he called Corey a name, which I'll refrain from keeping those on the screen. But could you tell if that, to me, it seemed like it was a Michigan, and I won't say heavy, but it seemed like it was worst case 50-50, maybe 55-45 for Michigan. What
Iowa showed up. It was a lot of Michigan fans there, but Iowa showed up. I was monitoring people who were there on social media, and apparently it was a huge Iowa fan turnout. So Corey wasn't wrong that it was a huge Iowa fan turnout. But definitely it wasn't. He said fans would be the majority.
It would be like the game. I mean, and maybe like you said, maybe I'm wrong, but he was like this could be like borderlining out of home game. Like he was like, no, it's gonna be Iowa.
Right. That's like, what he was. Yeah, it's like no. But so that's what made it wrong. But no, they definitely showed up. But it was pretty close to 50-50.
Yeah, agreed.
Which hey, in a conference championship game, it probably should. You should get. You will hope. That both teams are well represented, right? So that's great to see.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see here. So let's talk about. So someone had asked as far as the final college football rankings where Michigan would end up. So we've got Cincinnati won. They won their championship game. So Cincinnati's in. From all accounts, it seems like Georgia's going to be in. I don't think anyone really predicted that Alabama would win by 17 points. I think, most people were like, if they're going to win, it's going to be a close one. So I don't think that was factored into it, but I still think Georgia's probably in. And then you've got Michigan and Alabama. So for you, if you were the entire committee, where would you have the rankings, and who would you put at, each ranking? Not what you think the committee will do. What would you do?
I would do Michigan 1. I'll do Bama 2. I'll do I'll actually do Cincy 3 and Georgia 4. And I know like some Michigan fans, of course, we would rather have Cincinnati, right? Probably from a matchup standpoint, but I was giving it some thought, and now that's what I would do, but I think it would actually be Bama, Michigan, Georgia, and Cincy. But I would do it Michigan, Bama, Cincy, and Georgia. And the reason why is because, for one, out of the 4 teams, if you think about it, Georgia, even though they've been a consensus number 1, they're the only team that hasn't won a conference championship. Cincy has won their conference, right? Michigan has won their conference. Alabama has won their conference, right? So
hold on, repeat that again.
Yeah.
You said Michigan did what?
Won their conference. That's right.
That's true. That's right.
Yeah, get used to saying it. Yeah. You got used to saying that. Michigan won. Can't believe I'm saying it, man. Michigan won their conference. Bama won their conference, and Cincinnati won their conference. Georgia didn't. So I mean, I can easily see, I think that's a viable reason, and Georgia, it's not like it's a huge slap on the wrist of Georgia. It's not like they're kicking them out the playoff. They're still
Right.
in, so at the end of the day, that's all that really matters. So, your slap on the wrist would be, hey, you didn't win your conference, but you still deserve to be here. This is an invitational. So, put Georgia at 4, and then, Michigan at 1. I just think, and when it comes to the debate between, why Michigan over Bama for me, it comes down to Michigan to me has played the tougher schedule down the stretch overall, and it's been playing a more consistent good football. I respect, of course, what Bama did today. I mean, that was very impressive. Beating the consensus #1 team today, but Bama literally has been stumbling into this game today. Has not had the strongest schedule down the stretch, no fault of their own. And I just think that Michigan has played the better football lately. That's why I would do it. But certainly, Bama definitely has,
I mean,
right now,
and you could argue that Michigan's played more consistent football all year, really, even with the Rutgers and Nebraska games, they've still played at a pretty consistent, level and have only been ramping up like these last, few weeks. So, if that happened, I wouldn't be shocked at all. So you think that essentially Michigan is going to get matched up against Georgia in the first round?
yes,
That's what you're
yes,
okay.
and because I think either way, and I don't think this should matter because I think it's based on how teams finished up. Like the committee will put into will factor in, Georgia and Bama having a rematch. Honestly, I don't think as a viewer of college football, that doesn't really bother me because they both put on a really good product today. I mean, like it kind of got away from Georgia after a while, but like you're still gonna get both fan bases at this game. You're gonna get high viewership. It's Kirby versus Saban. They played in a national title game a couple of years ago. I mean, like it's going to get a big draw. So I mean, I don't really see, I don't know, like I don't really see like the negative about them rematching, but whatever. Because either way, if like they're going to rematch eventually, if you think they're as good as they are, right? Like if you do, like say they want in their mind they want to set up Bama, like if they set up Georgia versus Bama versus Cincy, okay, you probably pick Bama to win that game, and maybe it's a flip between Michigan and Georgia who gets there, right? Then you're still either way, you're still setting up a situation that you're most likely going to have a Bama Georgia rematch either way. You know what I'm saying?
But the thing is before, like yesterday at this 24 hours ago, what we thought we would have is Georgia being #1 and Alabama being out. That's what, so a lot has changed since the last since Georgia and Alabama played and Georgia ends up losing by 14 or 17. So I don't know. I think like you said, yes, I think Alabama matched up against Cincinnati, like they're probably going to win that matchup, especially when you're talking about Nick Saban getting 4 weeks to game plan for a team. Like that's right in his wheelhouse. It's rare. The first year of the playoff is if I'm not mistaken, the only time they lost a semifinal game. Like they, you know what I mean? Like when he gets that much time, it usually works out in their favor. But the thing is too, and what I'd like to get into is how do you think Michigan matches up against Georgia? Because I actually think they match up pretty well against Georgia.
Well, ironically, I think Stetson Bennett and Cade are very similar.
That's a little bit of shade there, man. I mean,
you're not a big fan of Stetson Bennett, though. That's just you're not a big fan of Stetson Bennett. You were like
no, but that's what I'm saying. Like you're throwing shade to your quarterback. Like
no, I mean in terms of style. In terms of style, like I think they're very similar in terms of style. Like they're quick read guys, get the ball out, accurate throws to the football. Now, rather who is better than not, both have really good experience. Both played in big games. Both won some big games. So I don't think it's a terrible comp. They're both good quarterbacks. I don't know. I know you're not huge on Stetson, but he's a good he's good.
He may not Stetson drop any like Cade. Although he had a little bit shaky today, He threw some dimes today. I didn't see
True.
Stetson
Look,
Bennett throwing
I'm
any
not telling
dimes.
you I'm going to die on. You know, like I didn't. Okay, I didn't attempt that to be
That
shade. You know,
if
if you're not
I'm
big.
Cade McNamara's dad or brother, I'd be mad at you. Like really?
Look,
You're doing
fine.
that, Stetson?
You can put Cade over him. You can put. Okay, the point is, okay. I guess the way I'm looking at it is that in terms of Georgia versus Michigan, in terms of how they match up, I guess I wouldn't put like a huge advantage one over the other. That's what I'm trying to say. Not a huge advantage, right?
Okay.
Maybe Cade probably is a better decision maker than Stetson Bennett for sure. But then I think Stetson may be a little bit more athletic, if you want to say. So they not a huge advantage, right?
The shade, all right. The shade is
You're not like it. I'm not doing. You setting me up.
I'm not. You're jumping in. You're telling me Stetson's more athletic than Cade is?
Not by a ton, dude. I'm just saying what guys. What I'm saying for guys who I think are comparable. One guy may do better than the other. Whatever. Like I think if you put Cade in Georgia, you're gonna have some similar results. Cade is good. You know, I think Stetson is good. You put Stetson on Michigan, I think he does pretty well. You know, and I think he's a good, solid quarterback. Whatever. He ain't no one's Bryce Young. Okay, Bryce Young is clearly the best quarterback in this playoff. Right. So that fine. I think it's a good matchup. I really do. Now, I believe that what bothers me and scares me is that I think Georgia has some huge receivers, much bigger than our corners. So I think they can have the physicality matchup on the outside. Will be a tough thing to deal with. They also got some huge tight ends as well, some athletic tight ends. Their offense to me reminds me a lot of Michigan's offense too. You know, a lot of play action passing, a lot of using tight ends over the middle, like the way they use their tight ends is very similar to how we use All and Shoemaker.
That Bowers kid, number 19, he is a monster. Like, Alabama couldn't cover him. They could not cover him.
Yeah, I mean they got some dogs, man. They got some dogs.